Michael Saylor and Jack Dorsey recently sat down. Michael Saylor asked Jack, what makes Bitcoin different? Why is it that Bitcoin stands alone from all other cryptocurrencies? And this was Jack's exact answer.
It's deliberate and it's predictable. I mean, Bitcoin gets a lot of knocks, especially in the mainstream media, the technology mainstream media versus Ethereum in terms of speed of development. Ethereum moves very, very fast in comparison. But it's a question of, what is the ultimate outcome of those moves? Bitcoin is very deliberate about what goes in and what stays out. And that does mean it's slower, but those slower things tend to last. And they tend to be a whole lot more predictable in terms of the direction they're going. They tend to be a lot more secure. They tend to have far better uptime and usability than anything else. And that's not to say that there's a ton of great ideas in the sandbox everywhere and happening in all these other projects. They're great sandboxes that will test ideas very, very quickly. But that deliberateness is what makes Bitcoin, to me, the potential for this internet's native currency and gives so much confidence as a business owner, as someone running one of these companies, that it's going to stick around and it's going to serve billions of people throughout decades going forward.
Yeah, you can have lots of innovation at layer 2 with projects that compete against Lightning, or layer 3 with applications that compete against Cash App. But I don't have to speculate about who's going to inherit the Block Corporation in 100 years. If I do business with you now, I have the option to take my level 3 assets to a layer 2 to a layer 1 and give them to my grandchildren. And that makes all the difference, I think.
These are obviously two guys who completely understand Bitcoin, and they are really thoughtful about the way that they see it moving forward. If you start to think about Bitcoin and the knock against it, that whole idea that Bitcoin is slow, the development doesn't actually push the pace of innovation. Well, part of the point of Bitcoin is that it's going to be around hundreds of years from today. And that intentionality, that durability that comes from being intentional is one of the key features. When you have a store of value, you need people to remember that it's going to be here in the future. If you look at something like gold, of course, people are willing to put their wealth into gold because they know gold is not going anywhere either. The problem with chasing innovation and pushing the pace as fast as possible when you come to a durable asset or a store of value asset is that if there's a mistake or there's some sort of issue, you put the entire thing at risk. And so what we're watching with Bitcoin is that Bitcoin continues to simply do what it was created to do. It produces block after block after block of transactions. It does so in a predictable way. The monetary policy is programmatic and transparent. People around the world, what was first a handful of folks, then millions of folks, today tens of millions and hundreds of millions of folks, all putting their trust in Bitcoin as a store of value, as an open monetary system. Not because they're blindly trusting, but because they can verify everything that's happening in that open, transparent system. Bitcoin is the future because Bitcoin will be around in the future. And that is why you can trust it to actually store value. Now, what we've seen is that there's plenty of people who have all sorts of arguments or critiques of Bitcoin, but Bitcoin doesn't care. That block after block after block of transactions, it occurs regardless of undisciplined monetary or fiscal policy. It happens regardless of what the mainstream headlines are. And it happens regardless of whether you or I like Bitcoin or not. The system executes exactly as designed. And it continues to be built in a way that is intentional and that is optimizing for durability. When I store value, I don't want something that's shiny and sexy. I want something that's durable and strong and secure. I want something that's going to last forever. And as we know, somebody like a Warren Buffett, if we take those timeless investing principles, their favorite holding time is forever. So buy great assets and hold them forever. That's why I hold Bitcoin. It's up to you to decide what you want to do.